On November 12, 2021, 19-year-old Ashley Wadsworth traveled from Canada to the United Kingdom to meet her boyfriend, whom she had met online. The girl was overjoyed at the prospect of finally seeing him after years of virtual communication. However, no one could have imagined that this happy meeting would turn into a tragedy. Ashley Wadsworth was born on July 25, 2002, in Vernon, a city in British Columbia, Canada. She was the daughter of Kenneth Wadsworth and Christy Gendron and had an older sister named Haley. The Wadsworth family was large and close-knit, consisting of more than 50 people, including cousins, uncles, and aunts of various degrees of relation. They all lived in the same community. Ashley was a cheerful, sociable, and energetic person, which made her popular and gave her many friends. She loved active recreation such as swimming, horseback riding, and skiing. Ashley was also passionate about tennis and played the clarinet. In addition, she was very active on social media, constantly sharing memes, jokes, and photos. It was on social media that Ashley met Jack Seppel. Their acquaintance happened in 2015 when she was 12 and he was 15. It is known that Jack was born on January 9, 1999, and his mother, Tracy Dalton, was married to a man named Ricky. As for his father, who passed away in 2019, available data suggests their relationship was strained. As for the rest of the family, he did not communicate with his brother Jordan but did with his sister Nadia. Besides his mother and sister, Jack didn't have many close people he interacted with, preferring to connect only with people through the internet and video games. According to information provided by some of Jack's acquaintances, he often got into trouble at school. They remembered him not as a cheerful, charming, and noisy child but also spoke of his dark side, which manifested when he got angry and unleashed aggression on himself and those around him. It was Ashley's friend, who communicated with Jack through social networks, who introduced these two young people. Like for many other teenagers, for Ashley, it was natural to connect with unfamiliar people through various platforms and form virtual friendships, regardless of whether they had common interests or were simply drawn to each other. Jack and Ashley quickly became virtual friends. At that time, she didn't have a smartphone and used the family computer to access social networks, so her friendship with the Englishman was never a secret from her relatives. According to Ashley's mother, during their long-distance friendship, Jack had several relationships with different girls, and Ashley also experienced typical teenage experiences. Despite periods when they stopped communicating, the connection between the young people never completely disappeared, and they continued to interact over many years. As Ashley and Jack grew older, their relationship changed. They began communicating not only on social networks but also via video calls, which made their relationship more intimate and romantic. Soon, Jack became a familiar face to Ashley's family members. If they passed by while the kids were talking, they usually greeted him as if he were really in their living room. In addition, he repeatedly sent the girl gifts like teddy bears and handbags. Ashley's relatives and friends said that she always compared every boy she met to Jack. Due to the 8-hour time difference between Vernon and Chelmsford, where Jack lived, the young people woke up too early and went to bed too late to have the opportunity to talk. In 2018, when Ashley was 15, she began showing interest in meeting Jack in person. However, the family did not allow her to travel alone to another continent. Periodically, like any couple, the young people quarreled. If as a result of such quarrels Ashley blocked Jack on her social networks, he created new accounts or sent her messages through his sister or acquaintances. This was alarming and intrusive for the girl's loved ones, but she insisted that he was responsive and kind-hearted. In October 2018, Jack got a tattoo of Ashley's name on his arm. At that time, she was 16 and he was 19. The girl's parents found such a display of love excessive and warned her to be careful and not even think of doing the same. Soon, during one of the quarrels, Jack inflicted a wound on his tattoo with Ashley's name. After that, the guy began to show himself as a jealous and cruel person. He got angry if he thought she was dating guys, although he himself continued to date other girls. But he insisted that Ashley was his favorite and said he needed only her. Once, Ashley called a girl who was at Jack's house and said that he wouldn't let her leave. According to the friend who was present during this conversation, Ashley didn't get upset and even reacted as if she was used to such situations. She just asked Jack to behave like a madman. Ashley didn't tell her parents about this but told her friends, who insisted that she cut off all contact with him. Despite numerous quarrels and the guy's problematic behavior, the couple always reconciled. Ashley was only 18 years old, and she had known Jack since early adolescence. However, it seems she didn't realize the extent of his manipulations over her. At a young age, Ashley began working in fast food restaurants and department stores, which allowed her to save money for entertainment. The first thing she bought was a tablet to have a more confidential way to use social networks. Then the girl began saving money for travel. In her senior year of high school, Ashley, who had always been a very spiritual and inquisitive person, after reading the Book of Mormon, experienced a moment of enlightenment and began following the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. In 2020, Ashley graduated from Seton Secondary School. She planned to study law at Thompson Rivers University to become a lawyer but didn't enroll right away because due to the COVID pandemic, classes were in video conference mode. She wanted to fully experience being part of the university community, so Ashley decided to take an academic leave for a year before continuing her studies. In the first half of 2021, she continued working and saving money. In April of the same year, she was baptized into Mormonism. It was then that Ashley, who had always been a brave and stubborn girl, decided to go to the United Kingdom to personally meet Jack and spend his birthday with him. Her parents and friends were not thrilled with this idea, but nothing could stop her since she had her own money and was of legal age. On November 12, 2021, Ashley traveled from Canada to the United Kingdom on a 6-month tourist visa. The girl was leaving her homeland for the first time and was very happy about this event. Ashley and Jack met in person for the first time on November 13, 2021. On the same day, Ashley changed her profile picture to a photo with him. By that time, Jack was already 22 years old. He looked much older than Ashley. He was covered in tattoos, which were even on his face, and the contrast with the young, cheerful 19-year-old girl was obvious. During her stay in London, Ashley stayed at Jack's house. Since 2020, the young man had been living alone in an extension in a public housing complex in northwest Chelmsford. The area had a dubious reputation, but the couple explored more beautiful parts of the city in Essex County. Jack seemed like the same person Ashley had met online, affectionate and caring, showering her with compliments and never refusing romantic selfies. But at the same time, he was inconsistent and could be cruel. The young people were together every day. Ashley, being on a tourist visa, couldn't work and Jack was unemployed. He received benefits, sometimes using support from his mother Tracy, who lived nearby. Ashley tried to constantly post photos and comments from the trip on the network. In most shots, the couple is captured hugging, obviously having a good time and enjoying romantic moments. Ashley constantly communicated with her family via video calls. It seemed everything was going well. They even adopted a kitten named Winston. However, over time, Jack began to withdraw into himself. He no longer wanted to walk or sightsee, preferring to sit at home, smoke prohibited substances, and play video games. Being in a foreign country, Ashley could do little on her own. Despite loving to be outdoors, her opportunities were limited to what Jack wanted to do. Before the trip to England, one of Ashley's church friends connected her with American missionaries who would be in Chelmsford at the same time as her. Ashley wanted to meet and befriend these young people who shared her religion, but Jack didn't allow her to attend church on Sundays. However, the girl kept in touch with them through text messages. To keep Jack from finding out, she deleted the correspondence after showing her phone. Her new church friends almost immediately discovered that Jack was controlling her and possibly abusing her. Discussing her problems with them, she admitted that she knew she deserved better, but she just wanted Jack to be happy. The cruelty was not limited to controlling Ashley's communication with other people. About 6 weeks after the girl's arrival, Jack messaged his mother that he had beaten Ashley because he found out she had blocked 2 British numbers on her phone several years ago. He decided they belonged to other men, which triggered a fit of jealousy. Although in her public social networks, Ashley continued to display photos of what seemed like a perfect trip, she created a secret profile where she began documenting her bruises. Ashley didn't hide the abuse from her sister Haley but threatened to cut off communication if she told their mother. as she didn't want her family to hate Jack. At the end of December 2021, Jack took an excessive amount of an anxiety medication. Ashley called an ambulance, which urgently took the guy to the hospital where he was helped in connection with the overdose. After that, the girl was appointed as Jack's caregiver and took responsibility for the safe intake of his medications. Although Ashley didn't tell this to her mother or friends, Haley accidentally let it slip. Obviously, the mother was worried and asked her daughter to return, but Ashley insisted that the guy recover first. In early January 2022, a new incident occurred. Jack smashed a beer glass on Ashley's head. Sobbing, the girl contacted her sister via video call, while the guy forced her to clean up the broken shards in the background. The girl saw how Jack paced back and forth, shouting and clenching his teeth. Haley begged her sister to return home, but it was fruitless. On the 9th of the same month, Jack, as if nothing had happened, celebrated his 23rd birthday with his family. Ashley soon after that, Jack's mother and her husband organized a family trip to a small seaside town, deciding that a change of scenery would help relieve tension. In the photos, everything looked so perfect that even Ashley's parents, unaware of the seriousness of what was happening, sighed with relief seeing the calm and happiness of their daughter. However, the apparent calm soon disappeared. During a quarrel at the end of January, Jack hit Ashley again. He also threw a candle and a TV remote at her at the moment when she was talking via video call with Haley, who once again begged her sister to return home. Ashley first agreed but soon backed down. She believed that somewhere inside this cruel person was the same charming guy she had known for so many years. Ashley prayed that time, medications, or her love would heal him. Judging by conversations with her mother, Jack seemed aware of the cycle he had driven Ashley into. He accused her of infidelity, beat her, and then apologized. Although Jack seemed to feel guilty for his actions, it wasn't enough to prevent the tragedy that eventually happened. On the morning of February 1st, 2022, Jack got angry at Ashley again, accusing her of sneaking out and meeting other people behind his back. He even demanded to show him her mobile phone and check all her social networks. Shortly before 8 a.m., Helen Bortonshaw, Jack's neighbor, heard Ashley's screams through the shared wall, and a few minutes later, the woman appeared at his door. When the door opened, Helen saw a barefoot, tearful Ashley with a cut on her palm dripping blood. The victim told her that Jack had caught her looking at a photo of a naked woman and flew into a rage. He verbally abused her, then hit her, broke her phone, and also threw her kitten against the wall. Despite fears that Jack was trying to kill her, Ashley asked Helen not to call the police. She agreed but begged Ashley to go with her to the doctor's appointment instead of returning to the apartment to her partner. Ashley refused, and Helen decided to go and talk to Jack. He apologized for what happened, remaining calm, and Helen left for her doctor's appointment. Around 9 a.m., neighbor Lucy brought Jack a package that had been mistakenly delivered to her address. He didn't want to open the door at all, but Lucy didn't attach importance to this, as she knew he was unfriendly and paranoid. Around the same time, Ashley called her family from Jack's mobile phone. In Vernon, it was midnight. By that time, the girl's mother was already aware of what was happening with Jack because Haley could no longer bear it and confessed everything. The parents immediately bought a return ticket for February 3rd. When Ashley told the guy that she was leaving in 2 days, the guy agreed to accompany her for the COVID test necessary for the trip and also said he would take her to the airport. Ashley's mother told her daughter to go straight to the airport if the guy attacked her again and warned Jack that she would call the police if he hurt her daughter again. The conversation between Ashley and her family lasted about 3 hours. When they finally disconnected, it was 11 a.m. in Chelmsford and 3 a.m. in Vernon. A few minutes later, Jack messaged his mother that he had brutally beaten Ashley again, knocking her to the floor and possibly breaking her arm. Between 11:22 and 12:38, Ashley sent several messages to her relatives and friends from Jack's mobile phone. Since it was night there, no one responded. She also wrote to her church friends in Chelmsford asking for help and indicating an emergency. Unfortunately, these messages were received only a few hours later when nothing could be done. Between 12:38 and 12:45, Jack attacked Ashley, squeezing her neck until she stopped breathing. Then he went to the kitchen for an about 11-centimeter knife, with which he inflicted about 100 stabs to the girl's chest and abdomen. After ending his girlfriend's life in such a cruel way, Jack went about his daily affairs. Later, he changed his profile picture to an image of himself with Ashley, which he captioned, "Always mine." Then he recorded a video addressed to Haley, in which he said he loved Ashley, that he was aware of what he had done, and that his head wasn't working properly. In the video, which was never sent, the girl's body was visible next to him. While all this was happening in England, Ashley's family was waking up in Vernon. Seeing the huge number of messages Ashley had sent them, they called Jamie Ashworth, one of their Mormon friends in Chelmsford. Jamie and Tyler Borden, another church acquaintance, went to Jack's apartment, knocked on the door, and got no answer. They called the police and left. At the same time, Ashley's best friend in Vernon saw that the girl was showing activity on her social networks in desperation. She messaged her. On the other end was Jack, pretending to be his dead girlfriend. He told the friend that he had sent these messages because he needed help to pass the COVID test, but there was no longer any need for it. Messages from Ashley's relatives and friends continued to come in, but Jack ignored them. They all desperately tried to get a sign from her. Finally, Jack called his sister Nadia. When the girl answered, he confessed that he had killed Ashley and even showed his sister the body. It was around 4:13 p.m. when police entered the apartment, responding to Jamie's call. Despite the fact that it took them only 10 minutes to arrive at the scene, it was already too late. The police arrested Jack on the spot. He was covered in blood. The guy told the officers that he was aware he had committed a crime during a fit of psychosis and confessed to committing the crime. After that, he was sent to prison in Chelmsford. The trial was scheduled for September 7, 2022, at Chelmsford Crown Court. The toxicological examination showed that Jack had only traces of light prohibited substances and a small amount of anti-anxiety medication. In addition, according to the results of the psychiatric examination, the accused was in a state to give testimony and stand trial. The evidence against Jack was irrefutable and included a video recording of his confession to committing the crime. The guy immediately pleaded guilty, and the judge told him that, given his confession, only one sentence could be passed, namely life imprisonment. On the day of the hearings held at Chelmsford Crown Court under the leadership of Judge Edward Murray, Prosecutor Simon Spence read out information about the convictions that Jack had acquired in his teenage years. It was there that Ashley's parents first learned who the guy of their daughter really was. Jack, starting from 2014, had problems with the law. He was repeatedly arrested for stalking a girl, for kidnapping, for illegal detention in the house, for violent assaults. He was also issued restraining orders several times in relation to his mother and his girlfriend. Ashley's parents were shocked to learn about the criminal past of the person who deprived their daughter of life. During the hearings, representatives of the prosecution and defense exchanged opinions regarding the letter that Jack sent to Ashley's family while in prison, in which he expressed remorse. After the hearing, Judge Murray allowed the letter to be published in the media, citing the principle of open justice. In the letter addressed to the entire Ashley family, but primarily to her mother and sister Haley, he stated that he was aware that whatever he said or did, nothing could bring Ashley back to them or rid them of the pain they were experiencing. Regretting his actions, Jack told them that he was aware of his mental health because he openly talked about it with Ashley. He added that his condition deteriorated rapidly and that although this was not an excuse, obsessive thoughts had a great influence on his thinking and actions. Taking into account the long history of violence provided by the prosecutor and pleading guilty to committing the crime, Jack Seppel was sentenced to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 23 years. Friends, what do you think about this story? Write your opinion in the comments, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel and other social networks. You will find links to them in the description under this video. We're not saying goodbye.